Hey family, it's Frank from Soulful Conversation. Family had a couple of things on my mind, so I just felt like I wanted to share. A wise older Christian man was once asked, what does it feel like to finally be free from sexual temptation? And when he was asked this, he paused, he smiled, and he said, I don't know. And I'll let you know when that comes. Family, that answer, it messed with me because if he, a seasoned, faithful, disciplined man, was still honest about temptation, what does that say about the rest of us? And I want you to stay with me because this isn't about a scandal that's in the media. It's about a pattern. There's a there's an old hymn that says, "Yield not to temptation." And that line came back to me after watching what's been unfolding in sports and even in entertainment. There's a painful story, unfortunately a familiar one. A married man, a father, successful. One morning he woke up in his beautiful home, wife nearby, kids in the house, future intact. And that same night, this man went to sleep in a detention center. Why? Well, because of reported alleged inappropriate and an inappropriate relationship, and according to reports, an alleged incident just hours after being terminated from his $1 million dream job. Family is one day. That's all it took. Reputation gone, income gone, marriage fractured, peace in the house gone. And here's the part that was skipped in what I was reading. There's small children in this house, and there's a wife who was blindsided, humiliated, heartbroken, and right before the holidays. And this isn't just a headline. It's a family that's altered forever. And this story isn't just about one man. It's about a pattern. Temptation doesn't discriminate, and secrecy destroys in the same way in every language. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that undisciplined desires is a defect, like something went wrong in us. But listen carefully. Undisciplined desires isn't an accident. It's an appetite. We were created with desire, but desire isn't the problem. Desire without discipline is. The wise man wasn't saying, I don't struggle anymore. He was saying temptation still shows up, but integrity, honesty, accountability, and my walk with God keeps me from bowing to it. And here's what most people get wrong. Temptation doesn't come as a demand. It comes as an invitation. Quiet, reasonable, almost harmless, and it rarely announces itself as danger. It shows up as something familiar, comfortable, justifiable, a thought that we had, a curiosity we didn't shut down, a moment of boredom or stress or loneliness. And it doesn't feel evil. It feels kind of normal. Temptation always almost always attaches itself to a real human need: connection, validation, comfort, power, relief, control. The need isn't wrong. Temptation is just a shortcut. And here's the pattern every single time. It comes with a thought, a look, a fantasy, a what if. The thought becomes a desire. But we don't shut it down, we entertain it. Desire becomes action, a text, a click, a compromise, a secret. Those actions become bondage. Now it follows you home. Now it owns space in your mind. And now it pulls you into the dark and eventually exposure. I grew up hearing what's done in the dark will come to light. And I found out that wasn't just a saying. That was a scripture. And here's the truth we all learn the hard way. Undisciplined desires will always take you further than you planned, and it'll keep you longer than you intended. And here's the part: it costs you more than you're willing to pay. So let me be clear: when someone blames their partner for an affair, that's often a defense mechanism. It shifts responsibility, avoids guilt, blocks healing, and an affair is always a choice, and it's never the betrayed partner's fault. How we respond to temptation determines whether it becomes a moment we move past or a pattern that moves us. Hiding undisciplined desire is like trying to hold a beach ball on the water. At first, you got it. You think you're managing it. You feel confident. You feel in control. I got this. But eventually, if you've ever done this, that beach ball pops up out of the water and explodes. And that's what ruins family. That's what crushes children. That's what destroys truth built over years. The problem was never the beach ball. The problem was pretending you could keep it hidden. Family, here's the truth. We will never be so holy that temptation disappears. But temptation grows strongest when there is no accountability. And I'm grateful. I've chosen my faith, community, and I know that therapy is available if I need it. And not because I'm strong, but because those things weaken temptation's grip. Temptation loses power when it's recognized early, when it's spoken aloud, when it's brought into the light, and met with intentional boundaries. What we name, we can manage, and what we hide, it controls us. Silence creates space, and secrecy creates permission. The moment you say, I'm struggling, or, bro, I'm tempted, or I need help, the darkness loses its leverage. Family, a person is only as strong as the number of stronger people around them. We hear bear one another's burdens, but we don't let anybody carry our burdens. And I get it. If you've been hurt, betrayed, or always had to be the strong person, letting someone see your weakness, that feels dangerous. Whatever feeds the temptation, you got to starve it. Temptation waits for a moment when we are tired, emotionally depleted, hurt, lonely, disappointed, unseen, unappreciated, and overconfident, like, oh, I would never get caught up in that. It rarely attacks at our strongest point, and it waits for our weakest moments. So don't give it a front row seat to your downfall. You don't break temptation by saying no. You break it by saying yes to something better. And I want to go back to that wise man. He says, I'll let you know when that time comes. And he wasn't talking about perfection. He was talking about dependence. Temptation never leaves us, but God never leaves us either. The goal isn't to stop feeling tempted. The goal is to stop being mastered by it. And family, our desires don't make us dirty. Our temptation doesn't make us broken. Our struggles, it doesn't make us unworthy. What breaks us is pretending we're above it. Freedom starts when you speak it, when you reach out, when you stop fighting alone, when you don't have to battle fight your battles in the dark anymore. Seek help, use resources, choose community. Family, I did this because I love you, and I believe in your ability to win. You're one yes away from yielding not to temptation. So family, I want to thank you for being here with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video back in the studio. Peace.